Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everybody. This is Michael Olin from the Office of Alumni Affairs. We're getting ready to start the Princeton Research Day judging webinar, but we're just going to give it a moment as we still have a few people logging in. So there'll be a temporary silence, and then we'll begin in a moment. And while we're waiting, I just want to remind everyone that there is a chat function there should be on the bottom right. We'll have time at the end for questions, but if there's any difficulties, feel free to use the chat function there. Okay, I think we'll go ahead and begin. So welcome to today's webinar on serving as a judge for Princeton Research Day. Again, I'm your host, Michael Olin, Senior Associate Director for Graduate Alumni Relations in the Office of Alumni Affairs, and I will serve as the moderator during our session today. Also, Carla Ewald from the Office of the Dean for Research will also assist as moderator. Princeton Research Day is a celebration of the research and creative endeavors by our undergraduates, graduate students, postdoctoral researchers, and other non-faculty researchers. The campus-wide event serves as a place for researchers and artists to share their work with the community. It includes research from the natural sciences, social sciences, engineering, the arts, the humanities, and in the form of talks, posters, performances, art exhibitions, demonstrations, and digital presentations. The day culminates with a celebratory public reception with music, food, and beverages, and remarks by Provost Debbie Prentice. We have a stellar Princeton cast lined up to present awards for the best presentations. Dean for Research Popolo De Benedenti, Dean of the College Jill Dolan, Dean of the Graduate School Sarah Jane Leslie, and Deputy Dean of the Faculty Tony Toronto. In keeping with the interdisciplinary spirit of this campus-wide event, all presenters will be evaluated on how effectively they communicated their research to an educated, non-specialist audience. 10 awards will be given out to recognize the best presentations for scholars at various career stages in research presented through a variety of media or forms. One additional award, new this year, will specifically recognize a graduate student who clearly communicates the positive impact of the research has on enriching or improving our culture, community, or society. The winners in these categories will be selected by the judges, who comprise students, faculty, staff, graduate and undergraduate alumni, and members of the community, all of you. Judging is a really important role. Your work for Princeton Research Day is integral to the event's success. We are so happy you could volunteer your time and energy to serve as judges. In addition, 3 Princeton Choice Awards will be made according to the presentations that receive the most attendee votes. These are the fan favorites. To help you prepare for your role as judge, we've put together this webinar featuring 2 faculty from the Princeton Writing Program, Dr. Natalia Cordova-Sanchez, a cognitive neuroscientist and graduate alumna, and Dr. Erin Verncombe, a scholar of religions of Mediterranean antiquity, and her degree from the University of Toronto. In the writing program, both use their scholarly expertise and exceptional communication skills to develop writing-intensive seminars that teach students advanced techniques of academic inquiry and research. For Princeton Research Day, they are applying these skills to the evaluation of research presentations, like writing, learning about assessment, or responding to the work of others as part of the craft of effective communication. Today, they share their knowledge with us in a fun and engaging webinar. Thank you again for joining us, and now I will turn it over to Natalia and Erin. Just take a moment to turn this over.
Okay, so my name is Erin. Welcome to our Princeton Research Day judging webinar. Happy Wednesday to everyone.
Hi, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us.
All right, so you want to be a judge. Let's get this party started. So Michael has already introduced us to the basics of Princeton Research Day. I hope you already have May 10th set aside on your calendar. Lots of really exciting and very different kinds of research being presented on Princeton Research Day. So today we're going to talk about how you can approach judging all of these very different kinds of presentations, from talks to posters to performances. All right, so I hope that you've already accepted this mission of judging on Princeton Research Day, but just to give you a quick overview of your role, we're hoping that you will attend a few panel sessions or performances. You might have signed up to evaluate some poster sessions. You will be assessing your session or sessions with a rubric, with a scoring card that you will have in hard copy, or I think also in digital versions on the day of. So you will be provided with that resource on Princeton Research Day itself. And then after you've judged your session, your poster, your performance, you will return your scores to us, which is a very easy and very fun process, I think. All right, so we don't have the rubric for you today, but we will talk about what it includes. So every Princeton Research Day presentation can earn a presenter up to a total of 20 points, no more. Each presentation is scored from 1 to 5 in 4 different categories. And we are using the same rubric, the same scorecard for each type of Princeton Research Day format to keep things consistent across genres. So I do want you to take a minute to take some notes on this particular slide, because these categories are going to be important later on in this presentation. So we have 4 categories worth 5 points each for a total of up to 20 points. First of all, we will be considering the motive for each of these presentations. So motive refers to the question being asked or the problem being addressed in the presentation or the performance. This is like the so what kind of question for the research. There should be something that is driving the research, some genuine issue that the creator, that the researcher really wants to solve. I didn't know the answer to this question. I really wanted to know the answer. So this is the research I did to try to figure out what was going on here. Second category, we have thesis. So if motive is the question or the problem that the presentation is addressing, thesis refers to the answer or the solution to that particular problem. So does the research offer a persuasive response to this motivating question or problem? Does the argument seem to fit together? If you're evaluating a performance, does that performance connect to articulate the motivation for that particular performance? Our third category is method. So methodology refers to the process that someone has undertaken in order to answer their questions. So if you're evaluating a humanities format, a humanities researcher might not be as explicit about their methodology, although they might offer an analytical framework. If you're evaluating a social science or a science presentation, then methodology should be more explicit, because the point of that research is to create reproducible results. And then finally, we have delivery. Was it engaging? Did you enjoy the presentation? Did you feel like you were involved in it from start to finish? Did you, as a non-specialist audience, so someone who is not necessarily a geneticist, did you understand the genetics, the research being presented? All right, so hopefully those categories are clear. Now we're going to put those categories into practice by scoring together. So this is where things get nice and interactive. We're going to score together 2 different types of presentations. So the first one is a TED Talk, and I'm going to switch over to YouTube so that we can watch that. I don't know if it's going to change your life. We shall see. We shall see. We'll leave that. Okay. Natalia says it will. And the second is a real life Princeton Research Day poster from 2 years ago, which may also change your life. We shall see.
Thank you, Erin. So like Erin said, we'll first practice judging a TED Talk because it's the same format as the 10-minute talk at Princeton Research Day. And as you watch, I'd like you to be thinking about how you judge the presentation on each of the 4 categories that Erin mentioned. So motive, thesis, methods, and delivery. And remember, 1 through 5 on each of the 4 categories, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, intuitively. So here is the talk.
£571,230,000 of paper towels are used by Americans every year. If we could, correction, wrong figure, 13 billion used every year. If we could reduce the usage of paper towels, 1 paper towel per person per day, 571,230,000 pounds of paper not used. We could do that. Now there are all kinds of paper towel dispensers. There's the trifold. People typically take 2 or 3. There's the one that cuts it that you have to tear off. People go 1, 2, 3, 4, tear. This much, right? There's the one that cuts itself. People go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or there's the same thing, but recycled paper. You have to get 5 of those because they're not as absorbent, of course. The fact is, you can do it all with 1 towel. The key, 2 words. This half of the room, your word is shake. Let's hear it. Shake. Louder. Your word is fold. Again. Really loud. Okay. Wet hands. Shake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Why 12? 12 apostles, 12 tribes, 12 zodiac signs, 12 months. One I like the best is the biggest number with 1 syllable. Trifold. Fold. Dry. Cuts itself. Fold. The fold is important because it allows interstitial suspension. You don't have to remember that part, but trust me. Cuts itself. You know, the funny thing is, I get my hands drier than people do with 3 or 4 because they can't get in between the cracks. If you think this isn't as good, now, there's now a real fancy invention. It's the one where you wave your hand and it kicks it out. It's way too big a towel. Let me tell you a secret. If you're really quick, and I can prove this, this is half a towel from the dispenser in this building. How? As soon as it starts, you just tear it off. And it's smart enough to stop, and you get half a towel. Now let's all say it together. Shake, fold. You will, for the rest of your life, remember those words every time you pick up a paper towel. And remember, 1 towel per person for 1 year, 571,230,000 pounds of paper. No small thing. And next year, toilet paper.
Great. So hopefully you hopefully you enjoyed that TED Talk, and hopefully you were thinking about the 4 categories as you were watching, but don't worry if you haven't scored it yet, because we're gonna give you some time in a few minutes to do so. But first, some of you signed up for judging at the poster session, so we'll practice that now. In the next slide, you'll see a real poster from PRD a few years ago. And there's going to be a wide range of poster presentations this year. And as part of it, you'll get to interact with the presenter, hear them explain their work, ask them questions, and so on. And that'll all be part of the judging process. But we are not going to do that right now. We're just going to show you the poster because the quality of the poster itself matters too. So you're just going to judge the poster itself. So here is the poster. We're going to give you about a minute.
So we'll be quiet here for a minute, but don't worry, this is just time spent with this beautiful poster.
All right. So hopefully that was enough time to get a sense. So now what we want to do is take a minute and give you some time to score both the presentation and the poster on each of the categories. So go ahead and do that. Again, silence on our part.
All right, and again, just a reminder that if you are judging posters, you will be able to interact with the real human creator of said poster on Princeton Research Day. All right, so here's one way you might have responded to the how to use a paper towel video, and I'm sure that it did indeed change your life. Your scorecard might look something like this. So motive refers to the problem being addressed. There is a clear problem here. I think we use way too many paper towels, so the presenter is interested in giving us some kind of solution to this problem of overuse. Thesis, the presentation, whoops, sorry about that. Let's go back there. Thesis, the presentation makes its point effectively and clearly to non-specialists. Methods, I mean, we had the shake and fold and some mention of some very scientific term, which I don't remember at this point, interstitial something. Why shake and fold? I wasn't too sure about that situation. So personally, I scored method a little lower. Delivery, I mean, he was a reasonably entertaining guy, I think. The joke at the end was pretty funny. Not watching that video, by the way. All right. And then here's what your scorecard might look like for the Alice in Wonderland poster. So if you had seen this presentation, the student researcher was great in conversation, but it might not have been so obvious in the poster itself in terms of why the researcher was interested in looking into curiosity in Alice in Wonderland. Thesis, however, was much easier to find. Method, so the poster shows a really nice overview of her analytic framework for Alice in Wonderland. And it was a really, really pretty poster. And again, the student was great at explaining it. So this was really a prize-worthy presentation with a total of 17 out of 20. So how did that go? How do you feel after judging those two presentations? If your scores were different than the scores I just showed you, not to worry at all. You're here because we value your opinion and your input. So if you used the scorecard, you thought about those 4 categories of motive, thesis, method, and delivery, then you have done an awesome job. And you'll never be alone in this process either. So don't feel like you have the sole responsibility for evaluating a given presentation. We have a really awesome group of judges this year, so you are not doing this alone.
Yeah, and so like Erin said, we hope that you still have Princeton Research Day on your calendar for May 10th. We're super excited to see you there. So just check in, Frist, room 207, and we'll give you everything that you need for that. 209, for Frist, room 209, I'm sorry. And we'll give you everything you need. So you're judging assignments, where you need to go, the scorecards, and so on. And so, yeah, you just go to the presentations, score, submit your scores, and you're done. And then we hope that you'll join us for the reception and award ceremony at 3:45 in Frist multipurpose room, which should be a lot of fun.
Thanks so much for being involved in Princeton Research Day this year. We seriously cannot do this without you. We're so happy that you've made this commitment, and we hope that you have a lot of fun on the day. It's pretty exciting to see the huge diversity of research that's happening at this university. You might have some questions about this process or about Princeton Research Day, so we are opening up the chat session in your GoToWebinar control panel for questions.
Thank you so much, Natalia and Erin. So yes, as they mentioned, if there are questions, please feel free to chat them now and we can moderate those.
Well, if you don't have questions, I mean, feel free to say hello. Let us know you're out there. Let us know what you're thinking.
Hi, this is Carla Ewalt. I'm Associate Dean for Research. Thank you for being on the webinar today. Sometimes people ask how early they need to arrive, and so I thought I'd just answer that question now. If you are coming to judge a talk, then please arrive about 30 minutes ahead of your session. If you're coming to judge one of the poster sessions, then coming about 15 minutes ahead will be plenty of time. There must be other logistical questions or questions about judging, so please feel free to ask them through the chat. One other thing that I would like to mention is that you can find out about the presentations, what are the talks and the different activities in the sessions by going to the researchday.princeton.edu website. On that homepage of the website, there is a link to the program. And it is through an app called Guidebook, but you can get there directly from the Research Day website. There's links on that front homepage.
All right, well, I guess last call for questions here. I think Natalia and Aaron must have really done a great job covering this content.
Michael, this is Carla. I'm wondering if you want to mention anything about graduate alumni finding each other on that day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a green room for graduate alumni there in Frist. The signage will be clear, and just a place for graduate alumni judges to find each other, take a break, recharge, charge your cell phones, answer a few emails. So you'll be able to mingle with other judges and other professionals as well. And we've just been so excited about the response from graduate alumni in the area to this event. It's just so great that you're volunteering your time in this way, and we're excited about that. All right, so I'll just say thank you again for joining us today for So You Want to Be a Judge, the Busy Professionals Judge to Judging at Princeton Research Day with Dr. Natalia Cordova-Sanchez and Dr. Aaron Verncombe. And we, again, are really looking forward to meeting you in person on Thursday, May 10th at the event in the Frist Campus Center. So thank you again for joining us, and we will see you all next week. Take care now.